Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Mic check. How's the mic volume? Can we see my screen okay? Can you hear me okay? How we doing? Welcome back from the long weekend. It's a long weekend. Hopefully you had a nice, enjoyable, relaxing holiday period. We are back to work. I feel like I've been saying this every day over the past 3 weeks, but today's a day where we want to be careful. It really is, though. Coming off of the long weekend, we know news comes out every single day, right? And so when we have a long weekend, potentially there's a lot more news to come out than a normal weekend. And going into a Monday where it's a gap down day following the long weekend, all of that news still needs to be priced in, still needs to be adjusted. Whether or not we saw the news or whether or not the news is even relevant to the market, there is still some adjustments that need to be made. And typically, I mean, you're seeing a little bit of an adjustment right now with the gap down this morning, but typically those adjustments happen first 15, 20, 30 minutes of market open. We know that we have also been in a reversal market, so I actually would not be surprised to see this gap down hold support and rally. What we will be looking for is going to be a continuation down. We are mostly looking for lower lows, but we don't want to rule out the idea that, hey, maybe things do reverse and they run back up to the top side. So we are on the 5-minute time frame for SPY. We know that this has been selling. We know that this has been creating these lower highs as well as lower lows. The gap down this morning takes this down to 519, which is your support. It's not perfect, but your support area. If I can show you this, let me see if I can make sure I get it all on the screen here. You have support here. You got support here. And now look at where we are currently trading at, right at that support zone. Both times SPY has hit this area, we've seen a reversal. Here's another time. Hit this area, then we see the reversal. I know that reversal happens at the end of day and into after hours session, but look at where we're trading at right now. So is it possible that we see a reversal today? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Is it also possible that we look for the continuation down? Yes, absolutely. Am I saying that this can go either way today? Yes, I am. So what we most recently have is this downtrend trend line with the series. So this would be your high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. On a break of this downtrend trend line, which means the moment that SPY starts making higher highs, which happens right here, rather than lower highs, we have a trend change. What we would also have is SPY pushing up because this is a gap down, right? SPY would then be pushing up to fill this gap. That gap actually fills at 524 because it's only pulled off of the low of day from prior. So it's not a significant gap from where I'm wanting to look to take this long at, but $523, a break of that price point could send this back up to the PDC. And so one way we can try to trade this is to capitalize on that $3 move from 523 to 526. That would give us a break of the downtrend trend line and a move up into the gap to fill the gap down from this morning. That happens on a reversal. The other way that we could trade this is just say, we're not even playing with this market right now. We don't even really care to take this long. If it reverses, then so be it. And we will just trade it tomorrow. So if you want to be more conservative, if you want to be a little safer, long above 527 or 526 and a half. It doesn't seem like that would be in play today, but like I said, we've been in a reversal market, and who knows, maybe you do get that reversal all the way up to and then eventually through the previous day's closing price. Maybe that does happen. The other way I think to approach this would be to be a little more aggressive, long at 523, and let's just maybe really try to take this long on a reversal move up. I like the long at 523. I don't feel like I want to place a long level way up here at the PDC today. So we will be looking for the break of 523. Now, on a gap down day, ideal scenario would be an opening rally that gets sold. So we do need to be mindful of something like that potentially happening. Okay, and also keep in mind this gap fills at 524. So it actually might make more sense now that I'm looking at it to go long at 524 instead of 523, just to be a little safer. Man, I don't know. See, that's tough. This is kind of where those levels get subjective. 523 or 524. I'm going to set it at 524 for right now. When we're trading, after market opens and we see the price action, and when we're trading live together, if I see a lot of reaction around 523, we may shift that intraday. I'll let you know what we decide to do in real time. So right now, let's just set the level at 524. We may move that down to 523 if we see a lot of reaction from the price action around that price point. 523 makes sense to me because it's, like I said, you'd be getting a break of these lower highs, but then also the split right here between the support and resistance. I'm thinking maybe on a break of 523, you probably get something like that. We'll see though. Intraday, let's go long at 524 for now. We will adjust to 523 if we need to, if we see that that's something that we want to take on. To the opposite side, it's easy. We're just looking for the lower low. It's going to be a short idea below your pre-market low at $519. So the short side of things is very easy, and that's going to ring true for everything on the watch list today. We will only be looking for lower lows below your pre-market low. The long level is where it gets a little subjective. All right, number 2 on the watch list is AMD. I know that you may be sick of seeing these names on these chip names on the watch list, but they are what's relevant right now. They really are. And I know it's a lot of back and forth, up and down, tariffs and not tariffs and exemptions, and then moving headquarters to the U.S. I know that there's a lot of things going on right now with these chip names, but they're relevant. They're relevant. And so they stay on the watch list because of their relevancy. So AMD, like I said, the short idea is going to be very cut and dry, just looking for lower lows underneath your pre-market low. This is going to be a short idea under $85, which conveniently is your prior low area. I mean, it's off by 30 cents, but it conveniently is your prior low. It has been established as a point of support before. So a break of 85 not only gives you the break of the pre-market low, but then also a break of the most recent line of support. So it's very simple. Short under 85. Otherwise, long above the previous day's closing price at 87.5. Exactly. 87.5 exactly. I'm not super keen on going aggressive on this one for a reversal. I know that it could happen. I don't know that I want to trade. There's just so much chop here. I don't know that I want to trade from where the stock is currently at up to that chop, and I probably wouldn't take a trade. I'd probably go long like at 86.5 for the run up to 87.5. But like I said, this whole chop area here, look at all that price action. Because we have so much chop there, I would maybe expect to see so much chop over here. And for that reason, I don't want to take a trade in this area. I would rather just let this go. If it reverses, I would rather just let this go today, and that sets us up better for tomorrow. So long above 87.5, 87.5 for AMD, short below 85. And it looks like if this moves any lower in the pre-market before market open, we will have to adjust that level. Naturally, up next is going to be NVIDIA. I gave you my analysis yesterday, and I said we can keep this very simple. If this can hold above 100, we can be bullish. If it cannot, then we can be bearish. And it cannot. Right now, the gap down takes this under the $100 whole number. Therefore, we look for lower lows. Short idea under $97. Otherwise, long above 101.5, which is exactly at your previous day's closing price. 101.5. Now, the reason why we're going long at the PDC for these is because we're looking for something known as a red to green move. A red to green move is when the stock gaps down in the morning, so it opens red, but then reclaims the prior day's closing price, so it goes from red to green, and then the idea is that it's supposed to hold above that previous day's closing price and stay green. This is only effective on days where you have gap downs. On gap up days, you'd be looking for what's known as a green to red move, which is quite literally the opposite. The stock gaps up, it opens green. You look for a break of the previous day's closing price. So the stock moves from green to red, and then the idea is that it stays red for the rest of the day. It doesn't always happen, but it is a trading strategy that a lot of day traders utilize and look for. And you do get a lot of reaction around the previous day's closing price in most cases. Now, it doesn't work 100% of the time, but it works a lot of the time. And it is absolutely always something to be mindful of. If you do not have your previous day's closing price charted out every single day when you are day trading, then you need to do it. It's an important line. It's something to note. So the short level under 97, long level 101.5. We are not going long at 100. Notice we are not going long at 100. A lot of times I will say long at the whole number, long idea or short idea at the whole number, 50, 100, 150, 200, etc., all the way up. Why? Why would we not go long at 100 today? Well, there's chop, right? Above 100, what do we see? This is chop, 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 chop. It's a chop zone. Why would we want to take a trade above 100 into a chop zone? Doesn't make sense to me. So I can't say that I even want to take a trade there. So we're just going to let it go, right? If we do get a reversal and a move back up, so be it. If it doesn't chop today, then so be it. But what that does do is sets us up better for a trade tomorrow, because we said if NVIDIA can hold above 100, then we can be bullish. So if this can break above 100, and let's say it does chop, even if it doesn't chop, and it doesn't break 1015, guess what that sets us up for tomorrow? The potential breakout and run, because it's reclaimed 100. So we're basically letting this one go topside without us. That's the assumption, for a better setup tomorrow. Okay, Nike. Next one on the watch list. If you remember my analysis from yesterday, I said I kind of really like this setup. This is a nice setup here. Nike has found support at 52, and this does look like a pattern known as a descending triangle, where you have a static line of support here and then a series of lower highs here. But just because a pattern is a bearish continuation pattern doesn't mean that it has to break down. And I don't see Nike breaking. This does not look bearish to me right now. It's not trading near the support. You have a larger up day off of the support area, right? We can think of this as a zone, as your support area. You've got a larger green day up off of the support area to break the trend of the recent lower highs. So potentially Nike could be on a recovery move. It could recover back up to 59.60, and then we can start to talk about this filling that gap overhead. It is a gap down this morning on Nike, but it's not terrible. You know, this isn't something that is out of question to be able to break this downtrend trend line and run today. So we can't go long in this scenario. So we are looking for the red to green move here. We are looking for the red to green move, just like we are with everything else. But it does not make sense to go long here at 55.8, just above your previous day's closing price, because of the prior day's high of day, which is at 56. So what we do not want to do in this scenario is say, yeah, let's go long on a break of 55.8 here. Let's go long there to see this run to 56 and then maybe reject. And that is a real scenario, because the rejection has happened how many times over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, arguably 4 times there. And it's only 20 cents, right? So this 20 cents not going to make a huge difference for the stock. What we'd love to see is maybe something like this. Maybe it does rally up to and through the previous day's closing price. It goes from red to green. Maybe it hits 56, fine. Maybe it pulls back. We would expect to see that. Then we want to see this hold above that previous day's closing price. Remember, the strategy here is that on a red to green move, on the reclaim of the PDC, the stock must hold above that PDC, and then we look for the rebreaks. So it becomes maybe a market buy there, up off of the hold of the PDC and back to and through 56. This is the ideal scenario for this setup today. Can Nike make that type of move? Yeah, definitely. Look at the prior day. Look at this big run here that it's made. So it has the power. It's been beaten up on the daily. Maybe it is due for a reversal. We are not looking to take this short. It is not a bearish setup at this time, even though it is a descending triangle formation or pattern on the daily, which is a bearish pattern. It is not trading anywhere near the support zone. If it was, this setup would be totally different, but it's not. So we don't care, really, if this pulls back. We don't care if it falls further. We don't care if it doesn't break the PDC. We do not care what this does down here. We do not care. If this gets down to 53, 52, maybe we put it on the watch list for a breakdown as a short idea. Right now, it's not near that price point. It's closer to the resistance. Let's look to take it long. Long above 56 on Nike. Let me type this on the watch list. 1 second. Long over 56, and what we will say here is we are looking for a red to green move and the run higher to continue the prior day's run. Simple. Simple. This is a great setup. I don't know if it's going to give us the continuation today. If it doesn't, fine. Keep alerts on this at 56 because it may, if it holds up here and maybe just consolidates or chops but doesn't really sell off, this is still going to be in play for tomorrow. So keep alerts set at 56 no matter what. Okay, next one. PLTR. I think originally I put this on the watch list as a bullish idea. And then I said, well, wait a minute. This kind of looks like a bull pennant pattern. But just like I said with the descending triangle pattern, just because a pattern is a bullish continuation pattern does not mean it has to break out. This is hitting resistance at the $100 hold number. That's why we give a lot of weight to those hold numbers, 50, 100, 150, 200. They're just natural points of support and resistance. So now moving to the 5-minute time frame, what we see here is a gap down, and we know the stock's been making lower highs. We know the stock's been making higher lows. So what do we look for? A possible break of that formation, right? So we look for the lower lows out of this, given that it's a gap down this morning, to continue this or for a breakdown from that pattern. I know it's a bullish continuation pattern, but it doesn't have to break out. It could break down. And with it trading closer to the support, I think it just makes the most sense. We look for a break of 91. I don't want to take this long. I know we probably could if we go long at 94. Here's the issue. We go long at 94, then what? We've got resistance there at 95. We go long at 95, we got resistance at what? 95.5. Then we got resistance at 96. So this doesn't look like it's a breakout today. That's possible. Could it reverse and run? Yeah, we will always keep that as a possible scenario. But if it does reverse and run, what does that do? Sets us up better for a breakout tomorrow, right? So let's forego the long idea on PLTR today. We don't care if it moves up. Fine, it'll set us up better for tomorrow. With this trading closer to the support, let's look for the lower low. Short idea under 91. I am being aggressive on this. I do see the support down here at 90. If you need to be a little more conservative or feel like you want to be a bit more conservative, you can set a short at 90. That's fine. I want to be a bit more aggressive just because, well, it's a gap down day, right? And I'm thinking if I'm looking at this here, I know that the prior low was at 90, but if I'm looking just at this price action here, this looks like a pattern already. This is a bear flag pattern. So the confirmation of a breakdown lower would be a break of the peak of this pattern at 91. Let's flip the chart. I don't know if you know that you can do this, but if you put a minus sign in front of the ticker and then type it in, this flips the chart. It's the same thing, right? You just have negative values on the right. So now all of a sudden, this might be easier for some of you to digest. Now it looks like a bull flag, right? And we know on the breakout of the bull flag, the break of the peak of the bull flag, that's when you have confirmation that this is running higher. So you might feel a little more confident. I know we're still going short on this, but you might feel a little more confident looking at it from this perspective. The break of 91 is what we're looking for to take the entry. So let's go back to the regular chart. Again, the break of 91, it's what we're looking for to take the entry. No long level here. Just a short below 91. The last one I wanted to add, which I did not put on your focus list, is Netflix. I didn't put this on the focus list because it had earnings prior. I wasn't sure where this is going to open up at. $1,000. Crazy price for this stock. It's trading at the $1,000 whole number. It looks like it's breaking down from that price point right now. This is kind of giving you a bull pennant in the after hours pre-market session from the earnings report pop, and then has since kind of recovered. It is still a gap up, so I'm leaning more bullish on this than bearish. I know that it's pulled back right now. Pre-market patterns, I'm not going to give a ton of weight to, but if it can get back above 1,000, that already right there is telling me that this is showing strength. This is moving back topside. But I need to see a little more because I see resistance here at 1010, $1,010. So I need to see it not only get above 1,000, but then I need to see it break this little bit of resistance here in the pre-market after hours session, pre-market after hours, you know what I mean. And then run higher. So above 1010, I think we start to look for the run back to the after hours high from last week, which is 1024. So that works for me. Netflix long above 1010. Long above 1010. Can it get there? Sure. Could it also pull all the way back? Sure. This is just a post-earnings trade idea. So it wasn't on the focus list. I needed to see this morning's price action. It still feels like it's okay. A pullback here is just a little retracement from this big pop. It's still overall gapped up. It's still gapped up while the majority of the market has gapped down. We know that to be known as something known as relative strength. Okay? When the stock is showing relative strength, it's moving on its own accord. This is moving off of earnings, not necessarily what the rest of the market is moving off of. That's it. That's the full watch list. So, a couple of things before you take off. Number one, we will be trading live today. If you would like to attend the live trading, it will be conducted in the Discord server, not here on YouTube. In the Discord server, scroll down bottom left-hand side of the screen. You're going to see a channel called The Arena under Voice Channels. That is where we will conduct the live trading. So join me there if you'd like to attend. The other thing I want to mention is I forgot, actually. I can't believe I just forgot that. I hadn't. Isn't that funny how that happens? Okay, well, if it comes back to me, I will send it out to everybody. What I'm going to do is get this watch list posted for you. Be patient today. Wait on those setups to come to you. There's no need. It was a long weekend, right? There's no need to rush into anything. We say let the dust settle. All of that news that came out over the weekend, surely there was something that's going to affect the market conditions as we see from the gap down. Let the dust settle. Let those traders battle it out in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes. Let them figure out what the direction is going to be. And then we get in after that direction has been established. That's the plan, at least. So don't rush into anything. Let those setups come to you. Wait for proper and true confirmation. Top stock pick of the day, probably going to be AMD. Probably going to be AMD or NVIDIA. Just looking for the lower lows out of this. These chip names have been kind of all over the place with all of the news that's been going on. So we're looking for mainly the continuation. Do be careful of extension, though. All right, if you tuned in late to this stream, It is available for playback from the very beginning, so you have time. You can put it on 2x speed after I end this stream, watch it from the beginning, and catch all of the notes that you may have missed. You will want to do that because I gave some very valuable information this morning. All right, we'll see you over in the Discord server. Take care, cheers, and we continue the $1,000 account challenge today. Today. All right, see you over there. Thank you for your time.